Has Shane Waldron earned back the trust of Chicago Bears fans after a rough start to the season? Talk about the reasons why that should be the case on today's episode. We're also going to look at, with Ryan Bates returning, there's a question that the Bears have to answer on that offensive line, and what is the best answer to what do you do with Ryan Bates? We're going to talk about all that plus more on today's Chicago Bears Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. I want to start off talking about Shane Waldron, and this kind of piecing together a lot of things I've said over the course is that Shane Waldron has quietly, much like Caleb Williams, been progressing over the season for the Chicago Bears through the first 7 weeks of the season. And when you really look at it, right, the things that Shane Waldron has gotten better at should be things that restore a little bit of the faith in Shane Waldron after there was some doubt, after the beginning of the season on what Shane Waldron was actually going to bring to this team. First, Shane Waldron has been using his personnel a lot better. When you look at the shift from using Gerald Everett more to now Shane Waldron understands. Like, it was a safety net with Gerald Everett, right? Him coming with the familiar system, those type of things. But now we're seeing much more of Cole Kmet. And as a matter of fact, we don't see a lot of Gerald Everett out there on the field much at all. And so the utilization of Cole Kmet, who we as Bears fans have understood the weapon that Cole Kmet has been, it's really good that Shane Waldron woke up to that fact. We're seeing Cole Kmet used more on passing downs, run downs. He's just out there on the field more, which puts your weapons in the right place. Also, when you look at Roschon Johnson, right, and him using Roschon more and in a very particular way. While, yes, a lot of Bears fans, myself included, would like to see Roschon get even more opportunity, where Shane Waldron has used him at has been to his strengths, especially putting him out there with Doug Kramer at the fullback in those short yardage situations. Roschon Johnson has done really good in that. Now, you have some people that doubt what Roschon could be long-term, right? There's still people who look at Roschon and think that he has running back one potential overall. I'm not here to have that conversation. Maybe at the end of the season, we'll reevaluate things like that. But regardless of that, how he's using Roschon Johnson has been really well. Does he need to be used a little bit more? I think so. But again, you're using him in a way that Roschon Johnson is being effective for your team. And you got to love that, right? So when you look at how coming into this season, it was really like Travis Homer, who was above the depth chart on Khalil Herbert. Make that make sense. And you, as well as Khalil Herbert, both those guys are now phased out. And we're seeing Roschon Johnson take the snaps that previously we would have went to both those guys. And of course, Roschon didn't start off the season healthy, but utilizing that better. And then now with Keenan Allen fully healthy as well, we're basically using just our top three wideouts almost exclusively. We're not seeing that shared wideout where we're seeing a little bit of everybody, the DeAndre Carters. We're not seeing Tyler Scott. Now, that could be also looked at as a negative, but he's trying to maximize the opportunities for Keenan, for Rome, for DJ Moore. And I think as the season goes on and we find a better rhythm with those three wide receivers, I do hope that Shane Waldron works into including the other guys, especially Tyler Scott, a little bit more when it comes down to it. But I like that we're seeing more of the top three wideouts. We're seeing them utilize a lot more effectively. And really, for what it's worth, we're spreading the ball out a lot better, right? We're attacking more downfield than what we did at the beginning of the season. Of course, that coincides with Caleb Williams playing better as well and being better on that. We still got to tighten up that, right? It's not saying that it isn't something that needs to be tightened up there. And Shane Waldron still has his things that he needs to work on and put players in better situations and positions in the passing game. That's something that we need to see continue to develop for sure. But we're starting to see it go in the right direction, right? I think using your top three wideouts is the thing that you want to look at first. We got so much depth 1 through 3 at that position, and Shane Waldron is using that a lot better as well. And for what it's worth, he's listening to Caleb as well. Like, this Bears team threw a lot at Caleb Williams. And while it could have contributed to the slow start that he was throwing so much out there right away, we're seeing that now everything's kind of starting to coalesce, right? And so it's starting to get to that point to where it's all starting to be on the same page. And so Shane Waldron trusting his players, trusting the weapons that he has here, utilizing those weapons better, and putting them in better positions has been a big part of that development as well. Now, Caleb still has his things he needs to develop on as well. Pressure. He has to perform better under pressure. And so Caleb Williams right now, his pressure to sack rate is 27.8%, and that's not all on the offensive line. Caleb Williams ranks 32nd out of 35 qualified quarterbacks with 15 or more pass attempts. So we need to see Caleb be better under that pressure area as well, right? You look at Josh Allen, 11%, Joe Burrow, 20%. So it needs to be somewhere between those two places that you want to see Caleb Williams at when it all comes down to it. But we're starting to get better on that as well. And so we're seeing Caleb Williams improve as a passer as well. Caleb Williams is 32nd in completion rate under pressure. He's 31st in yards per attempt under pressure and 26th passer rating under pressure. So we got to figure that part out to put Caleb Williams in better situations. But overall, utilizing our weapons and getting smarter with utilizing those players has been much better as well. And then, like I said, the second thing, the progression of Caleb Williams, right? Taking more shots down the field as well. His understanding of the game has been a lot better, right? And so the Bears throwing the whole playbook at Caleb Williams right away, the Bears throwing it all on Caleb Williams right away is really starting to pay off. And there was those early shortcomings that could have been part of that. I'm not putting it all on that because the Bears offense was a shit show to start off the season, but the better putting your quarterback in better situations, finding a way to take better care of your quarterback, and the offensive line progression as well. Now, I'm putting that on Shane Waldron, but that's still the offensive line coach. But the way that this team has not hesitated to go to players like Matt Pryor, right, to Bill Murray, those guys, to not hesitate to use those guys has been a big thing, as well as helping get Caleb Williams in better positions. And you're just seeing better overall play calling from Shane Waldron as well. It's just the play calling is making a lot more sense. It's paying into what we're doing later on. And again, being receptive to his players, that's another reason you got to. When the players called that meeting with Shane Waldron and talked about the play calling, the utilization, which one of the things that also came out of that was the Bears getting back to scripting plays a little bit more, right? Those first 15 plays, we're seeing that progression has helped the Chicago Bears in where they need to be. And so overall, Shane Waldron's progression and his development as the offensive coordinator of the Bears needs to be talked about just as much as Caleb Williams' progression, because Shane Waldron has shown an ability to grow. He's shown an ability to adapt. He's shown an ability as well as to just be smarter in it. And so shortly, whatever, however you say that. I don't know why phrases like colloquialisms get in my way. But it's getting to the point of Shane Waldron his offensive system is getting better and is becoming a fun system to watch play football, especially when you look at the Bears going to a more up-tempo system and how Caleb Williams is great when the Bears are throwing. We talked about Caleb Williams under pressure. Those numbers are almost flipped exactly when Caleb Williams is in a more up-tempo offense, when they're doing those type of things. And so right now you're seeing that growth and development, and Shane Waldron is adapting the system. The Bears are averaging 24.7 points per game, which is 12th in the NFL. And so this Bears offense is becoming fun. And we talked about the modernization of the Bears offense was something to watch out for this season, because the Bears have just been an old school team for so long, a running team, those type of things, right? And the fact that our run-pass balance has been leaning more pass-heavy over the last few weeks. Again, of course, the opponents play a part into that, and we need to see how much this new Shane Waldron, how much these improvements stick once we start playing better teams. But overall, the Bears are in a really good place. Shane Waldron has done a really good job, I think, at adapting and acclimating to this. And when you look at from where the Bears offense looked week 1, week 2, to where it now looks coming in, out of the bye week going into week 8, things are looking up for the Chicago Bears. And so got to give the Bears credit for that. I got to give the love for the Bears and being able to see that. And we just got to see it. We just want to keep chugging along, right? We got to keep going in the right direction. And it's going to be really important for the Bears, especially with the matchups that they have coming up, to continue that progress. And so, while Jaden Daniels went down with a rib injury, I think that they sat him because they were playing against the Carolina Panthers, and they understand what this matchup is how important this matchup is. And there's going to be a lot of people that are looking at this matchup and trying to use that to determine what is, who's the better rookie and things like that. So, in a couple of episodes ago, I went over Caleb Williams' numbers compared to Jaden Daniels, and they're not as bad as some Bears fans made them out to be. And like I said, embrace the guy that we have, embrace this team, and we'll start seeing where the Bears really do sit in this NFC and overall in the league here soon. It's like right now, the Bears at 4-2 they would lead almost every other division in the game of football, right? And so, yes, this matchup and the fact that it was flexed, the NFL would definitely flex this from, originally going on at 1 to going on at 4:25 Eastern time. This is an important matchup coming up against Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, and it's important that the Bears are prepared for that. And so we'll see what comes along for that. Really excited about it myself. And one of the things that the Bears also have to decide coming out of this week is what to do with Ryan Bates, which leads us to our next topic. Ryan Bates, who was kind of expected to win the starting center position over Coleman Shelton, went down with injury. Coleman Shelton won the position, and then we quickly looked at Ryan Bates as being that next right guard. Now, he ended up going down with injury. Matt Pryor has come in, played pretty well, but the Bears now have a tough decision, a good decision that they have to make on, do you put Ryan Bates in there at the starting center? Because Coleman Shelton, over the last 3 weeks, he's played his best 3 games. And that coincides with Caleb Williams also playing his best 3 games. And chemistry and rhythm are an important thing, especially the center and the quarterback. Now, I'm not one to say that Ryan Bates couldn't come in and he's not good enough to overcome or build that chemistry with Caleb Williams right away. But with the Bears on a winning streak, the longest winning streak that we've been in a while, right? One of the longest home winning streaks as well the longest one in the NFL. Will the Bears be looking to move and change that dynamic of Coleman Shelton being there at the center position when, listen, he's been playing, like I said, his best football over the last 3 weeks. And with Caleb also playing his best football in the last 3 weeks, do you want to mess up that dynamic? So then the question then is okay, do you bring in Ryan Bates as the starting right guard, and then you move Matt Pryor to the bench, still going to be able to play a lot of snaps there? But that's the question that you have right now. Ryan Bates has played 203 career snaps at center, right? Now, last center, he only played 35 snaps at center, but he's played a lot of snaps at that center position. Now, he has more snaps at right guard, at both the left guard and right guard than center. So you would expect maybe for him to be able to come into that right guard position and play well for the Chicago Bears. But there's that question, right? And like I said, it's a good question to have because you have 2 players in Matt Pryor and Coleman Shelton that have played really well over the last couple of weeks. Now, maybe you acclimate Ryan Bates back, and we still don't know if he's fully cleared yet, right? Like, he's on pace. This is where he can be cleared, but he hasn't been yet. And so, because of that, we're waiting on that decision, but are they going to want to bring him back off the bench, kind of work up his rhythm, get him some practices rather than just throw him out there, trying to start in his first game back against the Washington Commanders? These are all questions to ask, and good situation to be in. On top of, the trade deadline approaching, are you going to be bringing in some help on that offensive line? But this offensive line is getting, I've talked about it the last couple of episodes. We're getting to the place of health being around the corner, and with that health, how much progression are we then making on that offensive line? So, Ryan Bates coming back, Matt Pryor being healthy, Coleman Shelton playing really well right now. All those things are good questions, good problems to have for the Chicago Bears at a position where we didn't expect to have a lot of good problems when we started off, if that makes sense. So I'm not too mad at it. Again, I trust the Bears to make the best decision for both the players and for the health of the team. But Ryan Bates is coming back. And at the bare minimum, regardless if he's starting or not, we're getting another quality offensive lineman to help progress this team at a time where we need it the most. And that is the important part of this, right? That's the important part. Where he plays, whether he starts, comes off the bench, I'll let the coaches determine that. But I want to hear from you guys on this, right? How do you feel about Ryan Bates' return? Would you insert him in as a starting center? Have you seen enough from Coleman Shelton to where you want to see if he's going to continue that progress before you take away a player's starting position when they're playing well? Or do you think Ryan Bates still offers the best situation there? Let's play him there. Or do you look at it and say, right guard, hey, Matt Pryor, you're bringing a lot. Let's bring Ryan Bates in there. And Matt Pryor, you're still going to get plenty of snaps as a depth piece, and we still got plenty of use for you. Let me know what you guys think on that down below. Now, with that said, on Mondays, I always go into the mailbag, but that's usually because we're coming off game days. So with that said, this time, we're still going to get into the mailbag. This first voicemail, this one's from Booker.
Yo, Bobby C-Dub, what's good? This book, man, blesses to you and yours. It's been a minute, man. I was just, giving myself time to watch the games and really put a lot of things into perspective. And very happy at the trajectory that the team is on right now, man. I'm very proud of this team. And I just want to say, I want to give a special shout out, man, to Swift, man, because, we know he handling his business, running the rock and, catching out of the backfield. But one of his cons was a little of pass protecting. But, man, if you pay attention and watch him, he been doing a good job, man, at pass protection, man, especially on the blitz, man. He picked the blitz up, man, like very good. Like I haven't seen running backs, do in a while, man. I know Roshan does it, man, but like for a guy his size to be able to pick up the blitz and to pass protect the way he does, man, that shows grit and determination, man. And I'd rather have players that have grit and determination, man, and that drive, than a player that has all the physical tools and can't do it. You know what I'm saying? They have the potential to do it. So I just want to give a shout out to Swift, man, and, and also an apology, man, because I was wrong about you, man. I was going in on you a little bit in the beginning, but that's what you're there for, man. Prove us wrong, man, and keep on doing what you're doing, man. We're proud of you here in the Bears Nation. But that's all I wanted to say, man. Just it's a bye week, so ain't too much to talk about. We just sitting in the glory of 4-2 right now and enjoying it, man, and watching the path that this team is about to take, man, and because I think the league is in for a surprise. But that's it. That's all. Again, blessings to you and yours. Chicago up, bear down, and I'll holler.
Listen, I'm definitely happy with the path the team's on. I think that this team is taking care of business. And while, yes, it's fair for the Bears fans to say, well, look at who we played. We haven't played the best competition. Let's not get too confident. I agree with that too. But the fact of the matter is, if the Bears would have been looking bad against bad competition, those same people will be very loud saying, oh my God, we couldn't even beat such and such. So yes, the Bears not only took care of business, they looked dominant, right? And that's the thing that says to me, if you were fighting hand in hand, right? Like it was a big battle against these bad teams, that would be a little bit more like, okay, let's pump our brakes. But the Bears are looking really good against competition they should look really good against, and they're taking care of business. Now, let's use that confidence to build off of that and see what we can do going forward. That's an important part of this as well. But I agree with you. Team's on the right path. DeAndre Swift is playing really well, and I'm starting to like the dynamic in that backfield that we have between DeAndre Swift, Roshan, Doug Kramer being back there at the fullback position. There's a lot of things that are going in the right direction for the Bears. Now, the Bears got to deal with this adversity that's coming down this pipeline here soon. And if they come out on the other side of that, against some of these other matchups that they have coming up, that's what's going to bode well and go really good for the Chicago Bears and the future of this football team. The matchup against the Washington Commanders, they are 5-2, right? This is going to be a tough matchup. And while, yes, I do think the Bears defense is going to make it a tough night on Jaden Daniels, you cannot overlook, the Bears don't need to overlook anybody. Then you have a game against the Arizona Cardinals that are 2-4, and then another one against the New England Patriots that are 1-6, right? So you have those matchups coming up for you that, again, after a big game against the Commanders, you have those two games that, again, not easy games, but should be easier, and the Bears need to take care of business. But then at that point, shit gets tough after that. That's when we start facing off against the NFC North, and that's where a lot of this season is going to be told, I think, as well. And let's see what we're going to have in it. But all right, let's get into this next voicemail. This one's from Dre.
Bobby, hey, C-Dub, Steve-O, Big Kid, Cognac Boys. This be your boy Dre calling from McKinley Park. Man, I'm just laying here watching the recording of this LSU game. But anyway, man, look, I can't wait for next motherfucking Sunday, boy. I'm so sick and tired of them Glaze and Jaden Daniels. Now, don't get me wrong. Jaden Daniels is like that. That's my boy. I watched this kid both years when he was at LSU, and he's like that. But he hasn't taken any lumps yet. So I'm calling in it right now. Bears 31, Commanders 13. We get 2 picks off Jaden. Brian Robinson Jr. coughs it up one time, and we sack Jaden 4 times. It's going to be an absolute ass beat. So, I also wanted to let you guys know I will be in the building for the West Party. So I will hope to see you guys there. Side-town up, bear down.
Jaden Daniels I don't call it glaze because he's performing, right? I would call it glaze if it was like he was playing mediocre, but then they just try to act like it's more than what it is. Jaden Daniels is playing amazing. So I personally am not going to call it glazing. I do think that, they're buying into the hype of Jaden Daniels. But listen, when you're a quarterback and you perform, listen, you're going to get that. Jaden Daniels is having a great season. Great season. Only two interceptions on 6 touchdowns, 1,400 yards. Like, Jaden Daniels is having a great season. Make no mistake about it. And he's doing it as well with getting some shit on the ground done, right? So you got to give it. He's a dual threat quarterback. He has over 18 or almost 1,800 yards total from scrimmage when you add in the rushing game. Also has 4 touchdowns rushing as well. 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, over 1,800 yards from the line of scrimmage. Jaden Daniels is earning all the things that are coming to him as far as praise. But Bears defense is not about to make this night easy on him, and we not about to glaze him. So with that said, Jaden Daniels has a tall test ahead of him facing the Chicago Bears defense, both in coverage, both in pressure, and we're going to try to get to his ass. Now, as far as your prediction of 31-13, I'm not going to go that far in saying that, right? But I will say this. I hope that the Bears play a great game, and this is going to be an interesting game. And this could be one of the most fun games that the Bears have played in this season so far. So let's see it. I'm excited for it. We got a whole week of build-up and hype to get there. Unfortunately, we're not having the live watch party anymore. We've actually moved that live watch party to the last game of the season against the Green Bay Packers. Just some scheduling things popped up. So we will be that, and that's even better. That means that if you guys come out, you're going to get to see us live and in action talking about the Bears versus the Packers. So that's what it comes down to. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the show at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that's thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.